Now, the next thing I'm going to be reviewing for you today is actually a video game called Singularity. Now, Singularity is a first-person, because Persian is a word, first-person shooter that takes place in the distant future. It's fight the past, save the future, and stop the singularity. And if you don't know what a singularity is, it is when the cybernetics and humans combine into one, and you are at a fight to stop it. Now, fight the past, save the future, stop the singularity. And I just realized it's on the box twice, and I now look like a jackass. But anyways, let me read the plot synopsis for you, even though that's pretty much the plot itself. Learn the truth behind a massive cover-up of the catastrophic singularity, an event that fractured time and threatens the world as we know it. Armed with powerful advanced weaponry and the experimental time manipulation device, fight enemies from the past, the present, and abominations caught somewhere in between. Now, the plot of this game is you play as a guy who has to go to an island and kill these creatures and people in order to stop them from doing the singularity. It takes place in the present, then you do all this time travel stuff with this glove, which reminds you of BioShock, which you can use to alter things, make them look old or young again. Age them, fix them, make them do all that stuff. It's really cool, but other than that, this game is very generic. Sure, it's more original than some other first-person shooters, but it's as generic as they come. There's really not much originality. It seems to a lot of people said that it has much inspiration from BioShock, and it does. But unfortunately, that's not enough to save it from being just an average first-person shooter. Now, in my opinion, it could have been so much better. I'm not saying I feel ripped off from it. I bought it for $10. It was worth it. But unfortunately, when I was playing it, I felt as though it was sucking out all the enjoyment of video games that I had. And before I started playing this, I was actually playing Tomb Raider. And then I started playing that, and then I was just like, I don't want to play video games anymore. But thankfully, I started playing Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, and then that was cured. This game is very generic. It's very brown. Doesn't have a lot of life to it. Other than some time manipulation mechanics, it's really nothing you haven't seen before. You know, it has its RPG elements where you get the upgrades. You can upgrade your time manipulation device. You can upgrade your weapons. You know, minor inventory management, stuff like that. There's no choices in the game. But there's no choices in the game, so it's not full on RPG. It's a first-person shooter with RPG elements. Again, much like BioShock. But you're better off just sticking with BioShock. The game's not that long. It's only like 8 to 10 hours at most. I didn't really find anything in forms of side quests, and really exploration doesn't really do much for you. I mean, you can find some notes here and there, but in all honesty, I really didn't care. They have, like, you know, the sound things you can find, like, you know, recordings, but it's not like in, like, you know, like BioShock where you find it, you can walk around with it. Well, like in BioShock Infinite, you find it, you can listen to it while you still walk around. I forget in the first BioShock if you can walk away from it. I think you could. Or in like Dead Space, where if you find something like that, you can walk around and you listen to it. But no, with this one, you have to stay there and wait for it to end, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it just seems kind of unnecessary. And there's like, if anyone says the whole, you know, realistic thing, the game's so farthest thing from realistic. Don't give me that. But anyways, what final rating would I give Singularity? I would give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, it's nothing bad or terrible. It's just aggressively average, and it could have been so much better. But if you can find it for $10, just give it a try. I don't know. Like, in GameStop does the whole thing where if you don't like it, you can return it. Why didn't I return it? Because, like I said, I bought this with Tomb Raider, and I played through Tomb Raider first, and then I started playing through that because, you know, everyone's just like, it's like BioShock, you'll love it. And I was just like, oh, cool, I'll save this for afterwards. And then, you know, I played it, and I was like, I should have saved Tomb Raider for afterwards. But now, you know, what's done is done. Can't really fix the past. Anyways, that is my review for Singularity. Catch y'all later.